Hello, my name is Kathy Walters, and I'm going to be your instructor for the winter quarter for HIM 230, Quality Improvement in Healthcare. So the first thing I'd like to do is familiarize you with our course in Moodle. There's just a few of you that I haven't had prior to this term, so most of you know my courses and practices, although they are similar, they are apart in the fact that each specific course has, that relative content. So obviously you're right here on the YouTube video, and please start here. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go to the course syllabus to start with. So let's go here and then kind of take a look at what's in store. So here's a general intro, and then here's some of my contact information. So the course number CRN. My office hours are Monday and Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. And I'm very good about emailing. Be sure to identify your name and the course of what you're communicating when you email me, as I have several classes and many students, so it's helpful for me. The required materials here, it's the 6th edition. We did use that last winter, so hopefully you're able to get a copy from the bookstore. HEMA Press is no different than any other publisher. They're quite proprietary, and so I'd urge you to go through the bookstore to be expedient about getting your required materials. All right, and then a little bit about the instructional methodologies for the course. Academic integrity. Here's the code of conduct for Lane. So if you haven't familiarized yourself with that, that's probably a good thing to check out. And then some resources. Tutor Central, if you need help. Library has obviously plenty of resources, and there are hours. Student Help Desk, if you have any issues with your device, and things of that nature. Class participation. Obviously, if you're taking an online class, you know that it requires participation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that further down here on the syllabus. And if you've had me before, you know my late policy is I do not accept late work. So be sure to be mindful of due dates each week. And the learning objectives, a variety of topics we're going to cover in the course. Grading policy, use a point system. And then here is where I want to spend a little bit of time on discussion about what it is that we're going to do this quarter. So for those of you that have had taken online classes, and for those of you that haven't, clearly consistent attendance, like getting on every other day just to check things, is probably the best practice. Waiting till Sunday evening to participate is not a good practice for success. And for a lot of reasons, that you won't have command of the subject material as good as you would if you had spaced it out over the week and read the chapter, thought about it a little bit, blah, blah, blah. But more importantly, with regards to the quizzes, there's a 12-hour lockout between attempts. So if you do it late on Sunday, why then you've prevented your opportunity to go ahead and take it a second time. And then lastly, if you have something that comes up and you're dealing with it on Sunday night, it makes it difficult for me to help you, for you to, get resolution to your problem, particularly if it's of a technical nature, then you can't submit your assignment, that type of thing. So those are not excuses for not getting your work done and getting it in on time. So please make sure, life happens and we have good intentions. And yes, things do come up. So please be sure to be mindful of due dates and try to have a good regimen of when you participate in your classes, every other day. All right, and then don't forget to scroll down. And then here is the sequence of assignments. So again, here I'm making clear to have a backup plan. And so there will be weeks where we'll do 2 chapters. Starting in week 3, we'll start to do application activities and or a case study. But pretty straightforward throughout the quarter. So you can see that there, and that's no different than all of my other syllabi for courses. So, all right. And then let's just go ahead and take a look at some of these other areas. The instructor announcement and news forum, obviously, is where I will post information about, any grading assignments that I've completed. It is a forced subscription, so you'll get that. I might type in an announcement here and there for different things, so keep an eye on that. The course questions and student connection forum This is basically something where you can, post items if you have questions about the course, you found something interesting, or just want to kind of share anything about what you're learning. If it's something of a personal nature, I think it'd be best just to email me. So, and then our online courses for me is just it's an LCC source to link into what's entailed in taking an online course. So that's important to get familiar with. Here's a special link to the tutoring services, and then AHEMA, of course, we're going to be familiarizing ourselves with that if you haven't already, and then AHRQ, which is a great resource as well. So, all right. So let's just go through a week here, and you can kind of see how things are set up. I'm just going to go through weeks 1, 2, and 3 very quickly. So basically, obviously this first week you got to do the introduction forum, and I'll go into that in just a minute for those of you that are not familiar with forums. Obviously you're going to read the course syllabus, and then you'll do your introduction forum. And then, check out this video. W. Edwards Deming, Don Berwick, Joseph Duran, and Walter Schuer are great educational leaders and innovators in QI, not to mention just-in-time, organizational development, workflow management. Much of this started back in Japan in the late 70s, early 80s. But we'll be coming across some of these names as people that were, in the beginning looking at quality improvement in general in the corporate world. So, and then I'll have the publisher's PowerPoint. Again, that is not sufficient preparation for the quizzes, so be sure to read the chapters prior to taking the quizzes. And then, as always, I'll have additional resources here. These are quite lengthy, and you'll get into the document and scroll to page 2 to start. But there is some good information in there. And then remember that these additional resources each week you can go back to throughout the entire course to reference. So, and here's AHRQ specific to the National Safety Patient Goals. So I'll always have different resources there. And then Chapter 2, again, these first 2 weeks are a little easier. Just have one chapter reading and taking the quiz. And then, of course, additional resources. This book by Peter Senge, The Fifth Discipline, came out in the early 1990s. It was a great, great book about the learning organization, how organizations actually learn, and the culture of learning, and what does quality mean, and how does a corporation improve themselves, and that type of thing. And did quite a bit of in-depth work with that book, with book clubs and different things like that back then. And I have it if anybody wants to borrow it. It's a good book. All right. So here we are, week 3, where we begin chapter 3 and chapter 4. So again, you want to read both of them, one at a time, of course. And here is just a rubric that covers what it is that you should do with regards to how you're attempting these case studies. Now, you'll notice that the application activities and the case studies are worth 50 points each. And I really expect to see some good work submitted. You're at a 200 level course now. And you need to address those. So I'm going to just open this up here just a little bit for you to see. So, you should be able now to be able to support your arguments and develop your thinking a little bit better. And so this is here to kind of show you how I'm going to score them. I'm not going to do an individual rubric on each of the activities, but please take a look at this. And you should be up in your game now with regards to the work that you're submitting as you're getting near the end of your schoolwork and your programs. So just take a look at that as well, so you'll be familiar with that. Okay, so going back here to week 3 for just one final time, and that is so you have the review question for both chapters, the quiz for both chapters, and then the application activity for 3, and the instructions are loaded into these particular links, so you'll see that. All right, so let's go back up to the self-introduction forum. And for those of you that are maybe not familiar with forums, just kind of want to go over this quickly. So you'll typically have the instructions right here, at least you do on my forums. So it says here, please post to the class forum an introduction of yourself to your colleagues and address the following. Type your name in the subject box and then answer these questions. Why are you taking the class? What are your goals academically? What has been your experience with online courses? experience with health information technology in the healthcare system, health information management, anything you want to share about yourself. So I already have one in there, but I'm going to just go pretend that I don't. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on that link where it says add a new discussion topic, which will be a new string. So then I'm following the instructions here, and it says type your name. So I'm going to type my name. Oh, goodness. All right. And then I click here in the text box and I type all my information. And then don't forget to scroll to the bottom. And then you click post to forum. And then you get your confirmation there. And then you have 30 minutes to edit it if you want to. So that's how the forum works. So hopefully most of you are probably familiar with that. So, all right. So I think that's pretty much it. Looking forward to having everybody. I've probably forgotten something. But with regards to the quarter, please make sure you get your materials by Monday, January 8th, and get off to a good start. And I look forward to having everybody. And Happy New Year. All right.